Hello and welcome everyone to episode 77 of Video Game Club. As always, I am your host, Tyler, and I'm joined today by Mayu's Boo. It's Austin.
I'm so flattered.
And Ayame's best friend, Mox.
Oh no.
And flyer than Richter Kai, it's Aaron.
Oh, well, thanks. I thought you were going to say killed in the prologue.
Mox, how you been?
I've been okay. How about you?
Pretty good. Work's been busy, but it be like that sometimes. Have you been playing anything besides Paranormasight?
Yes, I have been playing Neopets.
Oh,
I know.
Like on a private server type situation?
No, Neopets, the old web game. The people, I had an account that was frozen so long ago, 2006. Neopets team gave it back to me. That's what I've been playing.
Dang, modern day Neopets.
I know. They're trying their best to make it relevant again, which is not why I'm playing it. I'm playing it because I played it in 2006 and I played it a lot.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nice. They did a collaboration with G Fuel recently.
What?
Yeah. Real
Why
gamers
do
play
you know
Neopets.
that?
Everyone knows that.
I guess.
I'll have to get you the cup.
Oh no.
Aaron, what have you been playing?
I'm playing Armored Core 6. I feel like I'm real close to the end, maybe 1 or 2 missions away from the end. And there was also DLC for one of my favorite games, Case of the Golden Idol, that came out. And I just ate through that, tore it up. Yum, 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 yum.
Wait, you liked that game? You surely liked this game.
I am reserving my comments until we get to the appropriate
All
section.
right.
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
That new
Okay.
DLC was like around vampires, right?
Yeah, the Lemurian Vampire is what it's called,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's good.
Mhm.
I mean, I love the game, and every time I didn't know DLC was coming out for it, so it was like Christmas. It was a little
Right.
gift for myself.
Just a little present for Aaron in
Yeah, just for
September.
me.
Yeah. Austin, what have you been playing?
This game's been gobbling up all my time, so I'll just tell you a story about why I don't play Neopets anymore.
Okay.
Is it sad?
The girl my girlfriend
Oh.
at the time when I was playing that back in the day, she sent me, like, I had an Elefante, and she sent me a gift, and I was like, oh snap, and it was some kind of stone or something like that. I gave it to my Elefante, and it turned him into this worthless, ferret thing. I don't remember what it was, and I could no longer do damage during battle.
What?
And I couldn't change him back into an Elefante, and I was super mad. And she thought it was hilarious, and we don't date anymore.
That's a good reason to
cruel.
break up with someone.
At some point, I tried to go back and get back in, and they had no record of my account ever existing. So it was just like, okay, whatever. I give up on that. So no more Neopets for me. But
That is so sad. There were
I
purges.
will live vicariously through you.
Oh, I'll let you know how it goes.
And if you've also been broken up with or broke up with someone over Neopets, let us know in the comments. Or pop in the Discord, let us know.
You know, this is like a less than 50% chance that this has happened to people, because that was a pretty contentious game.
Yeah. True. So I have been playing Paranormasight a lot. That's been taking up a lot of time. So has Pinball. Pinball's been taking up a lot of my time. But I have Starfield ready to go. I bought a new monitor, not just for Starfield, but because I needed one desperately. And I've been playing some Tears of the Kingdom this morning, and that game is very good. Tears of the Kingdom, good game. Who would have thought?
You sure? Really?
I know it's
controversial.
I know it's a little controversial, but it's a good game. I just found this item. I'm not going to say what it is, but I found this key item that I need 4 of them, and I had no idea that was a collectible thing that you needed to find. And I'm very excited for it to see what it does. It has to do something with sages. I'll just say that. But been playing the game for hours. Had no idea. New key item just out of nowhere. Pretty crazy. Now, before we get started, just as a reminder, this is Video Game Club, where usually every 2 weeks we discuss a game voted on by our wonderful friends in the Bombchu Discord and discuss that game right here in this YouTube video and major podcast service feed that you're listening to this on. If you appreciate what you're hearing, please consider subscribing, rating, commenting. Come into the Discord, vote, nominate, ask a silly question. Maybe it's philosophical, maybe not.
A silly answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nominations for this episode came from Mox, and they were Paranormasight, The Seven Mysteries of Honjo, Corpse Party, and Fatal 12. And the winner was Paranormasight, The Seven Mysteries of Honjo.
On
a visual
77.
Yeah, I know.
I was very excited when you said that. I didn't realize how auspicious.
It's a shame it's not really 7 mysteries.
Yeah, we'll get there. We should have saved 999 for episode 99.
We already played it. There's no point.
Just play it again.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Where we just played the whole thing. All the other ones.
Yeah, we should. Paranormasight, for those that aren't aware, it's a visual novel developed by Xeen. What do you guys know about Xeen? Xeen. The developer, anything?
No, I thought it was Square Enix.
It's published by Square Enix.
Oh.
Yeah. So Xeen was founded in 2006, based in Japan, and their first game was Wangan Midnight Maximum Tune 3.
Wow. Oh, wait, you've heard of this? I was saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have the soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh my god.
As do I. Thanks to
What
Austin.
is it?
It's amazing. It's really good music.
It's an arcade racing game. That was published by Bandai Namco. I don't think they were the lead dev on it. I think they just assisted on it. They worked on other games though, such as Trials of Mana, and one game we've played for Video Game Club already.
What?
I know. They did the remake or remaster of Katamari Damacy.
No.
Oh.
Wow.
Yep.
Did
Yeah.
they do the new one? We love, or I can't remember if it was Katamari Forever. We love Katamari.
I don't think so.
Interesting.
At least I couldn't find. There was I had to dig for this information, but it's possible.
Many boffins died getting us this information.
It was published by Square Enix. We already mentioned that. It was released March 8th of 2023 on PC, and it came a day later to Switch, iOS, and Android. Fun fact, if you look this up on Wikipedia, it says it wasn't released on Android. They're wrong.
Oh.
It was released on Android.
Wait,
2020
is this the same zine that made, there was a new Mana, a remake of an old Mana game?
Yep. Trials of Mana. Yep.
I was like, how have I seen it?
That's them. That's them.
Seen it, rather. Okay, sorry. Keep going. So many things.
Cal, come on. Yeah. You're going to kill Austin. He's going to fall over his chair.
It was a mistake. I'm sorry.
So far this year for hardware, we have the PSVR 2, PlayStation Portal's coming out. I know everyone's just dying to get that weird streaming handheld.
In an email, and I thought of how much we liked the PSP, and then the Vita, quote.
Mm-hmm. And then they were like, "Here's something that just streams PS5 games to this other screen. That's $200."
Go ahead.
I
feel like their console development efforts have been a little bit like DC's attempts to take the movie world by storm. They keep swinging, but they're not really hitting anything.
Mox, to me, this feels like a device that you would find interesting because you like to play games on for your Switch, for example. You play in handheld mode a lot. You play Steam Deck a lot. Are you interested in this or no?
No, because I can use the Steam Deck. You can play the whatever it's called, remote play from your Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So
I don't know who this is for. I don't know.
Is it only in your home?
Yeah. I think as long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, I think it works.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, because anywhere I'm going to play with internet, like at a hotel, for example. But again, if I didn't have a Steam Deck, I'd be more interested in this.
Yeah.
But I already have a Steam Deck.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird. I don't know. And $200. Whew.
Oh, that's it? Really? Only for the... I would actually get it. That's tempting.
Oh, dang.
You're right, because I do love... Here, I was expecting it to be $600, which I'm never going to buy another $600 thing. Another thing that's $200 where I really enjoy playing my PlayStation.
Oh my gosh. Mox, if you get this, I want to try it out if you get it.
90% of my interest in it is how silly it looks. It's just you took a DualSense or whatever the new one's called.
Spread it apart.
put a phone in it.
Yeah.
It's so silly.
It's like that GameCube keyboard controller.
Oh yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
It's you take a GameCube controller and you split it in half and then you connect the two sides with a keyboard.
No.
It's the only way to play Phantasy Star Online, episodes 1 and 2.
Actually,
Austin,
I had an adapter that would plug into a separate controller port that you could do your own keyboard. But I did try very hard to get my parents to get me that controller.
Is it a thing made by Nintendo?
It's made by ASCII, but I believe it's officially licensed.
You know what?
And there are a handful of games that will let you type with a keyboard.
Do you know if Animal Crossing supports it?
I don't recall, but I know Enter the Matrix does.
Oh, God.
God. Okay.
So silly. But do you know when I Googled it, the first thing that came up is someone who modded it to have what else but mechanical keys on it.
Of course. Gotta have that clickety-clackety.
Mm-hmm.
This year we've seen Tears of the Kingdom, RE4 Remake, Armored Core 6, Diablo 4, and many more games, including this one that we played. This game had very positive reviews, high 8s. People really liked the art style, the mechanics of the game. People weren't a big fan of the story and that it was pretty linear. It's a visual
novel.
I know.
That's like going to a book and saying this. I didn't like how linear this book was.
Well, the marketing made it seem like it was going to be different than it was.
Okay.
Yeah, and supposedly the controls on Switch were kind of bad.
No.
According to someone, but yeah. All right, it's discussion time. Starting with the gameplay.
Hold on. I do think this game is best gone into blind, and I don't know that there's it's hard to talk about the gameplay without having some spoilers of things.
True.
But I think that the spoilers tag, such that it is, would start now, which is to say if you're interested in playing this game, please pause this, play it 16 hours or so, and then come back.
That's fair. Okay. I'm on board with that as long as everyone else is on board with that.
We'll go into double mega spoilers once we start talking about the story.
Agreed.
All right, that's fair. Okay. Mm-hmm. So 5 character trees. The game takes place over roughly 24 hours. And we already mentioned it's a visual novel, has some branching paths to it. It has a wonderful story map, I thought. There's some little collectible stickers, and it has an interesting mechanic with these things called curse stones.
Yeah.
That, in my opinion, it doesn't use enough. Mox. How'd you feel about the gameplay of this visual novel?
I loved it. There was no part of it that I didn't like. I can't even think of what would go under gameplay that I would have a complaint about.
I have some.
Okay. Maybe I'll think of more as we loop back around.
Yeah. Aaron?
I thought I think in gameplay there's also parts where you have to refer back to your notes. The game notes, the in-game notes. I thought those were the best parts of the gameplay. They were the most gameplay-ish. It's a visual novel. The most of what you're doing is reading and then clicking next. And occasionally you'll ask questions until all the questions are exhausted. Mm-hmm. But where the game stopped and it said, put these 5 curses in order. That gameplay was my favorite, and I really would have liked more opportunities where it quizzed me on the stuff that I had been reading.
So you wanted more quizzes?
More quizzes, yeah.
Okay.
Which is to say there were several that you were paused. The game purportedly takes place in this quote old-fashioned, well, we can get there, TV, so it zooms you out. to
Mm.
the
Mhm.
storyteller who's like plays the role of the Greek tragedy chorus, and he asks you a question, like Aaron said, about the game. I did like that. You're right. It would have been cool if there was more.
Yeah, just to keep up on what's going on. Like there was a part where they ask you where this person was, and they give you the full map, and you're supposed to like kind of deduce
Right.
based on what you've just seen as to where they are. And let me tell you, I had to guess every space
Me
until I got
too.
the right one. I did not get what the story was trying to tell me at that point.
Well, you can talk about it during the story, but with that one, you had to go to a place before he does that, but he asks you so quickly. That is like something that I didn't like. He should have waited to ask that question.
Yeah.
That makes me feel better about that part because I felt really dumb at that part. Like, what? I've been paying attention this whole time. How do I not know this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Austin, what about you?
I liked there was like a section where you actually have to like do a puzzle and get yourself out, and then you have to. I won't go into the details of it, but like you have to go play as multiple characters during that section, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
I also liked the opening section, like where it's nighttime, where you're trying to figure out, okay, talking to somebody, do they have a curse stone? Or do they not? Are they just acting weird? They're trying to feel you out. And it's this tense, like, back and forth of trying to figure out, is this person trying to kill me? How do I, like, what's the trigger for them to be able to kill me? Should I try to get them to meet my trigger? And it's like, oh, that was really cool. And that goes away pretty quickly, and the rest of it was just kind of lore dump, which I was less interested in. There's
It's
a few
a visual novel.
It's not marketed as just that. It's marketed as a lot of what's in the beginning. And,
It is.
And I liked that part, so I'm talking about the gameplay I liked. But sorry,
I'm
lost
so
my
sorry.
train of thought.
I didn't
No,
mean
it's
that.
okay. It's okay. Shoot, what was I gonna say? I can't. Oh, so there's some fourth wall breaking stuff that was really cool. And those were some interesting puzzles. I wish there had been some more of that because like it happens pretty early, and then that also kind of goes away for a long time.
And then it makes a weird return.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, so I liked chunks of the gameplay. I wish it had been a little bit more paced, properly like spread around. But like a lot of what I liked was in very concentrated sections.
Mox, did you want us to circle back to you?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the story part. Keep going.
For me, I like the curse stone mechanic, and I wish there was more of it. And I agree, the fourth wall stuff was really cool. I wasn't a big fan of the quizzes, but Aaron, I'm glad someone is that you like the quizzes.
Yep. Well, I mean, I would have liked there to be opportunities for us. Like, it gives you the prompt to use the curse stone, but it's never really a decision point, other than like maybe one way gets you to a bad ending, and the other way leads you on. And since the curse stones are so interesting with their different requirements, I was, I think it would have been really interesting if they had had some opportunities where you're trying to figure out, where you're trying to use this knowledge of the curse stones tactically in some way, where you're trying to say like, oh, I shouldn't turn my back. I mean, you do that in the beginning. I shouldn't turn around because I know that this thing's going to happen. So,
oh my God,
you throw away the lighter because you know that's going to happen. But then that kind of like stops. That gameplay stops.
Yeah.
I think I also got a little bit spoiled on Beacon Pines with like you can't immediately tell if you've chosen a bad path because it will go on for like multiple chapters.
Oh yeah,
of following this bad path of like, let's follow this thread and see where it goes. And so those bad paths were like super interesting to go down. And here it was cool to see them, but they would end pretty quick. But it could have been cool to see. Some more fleshed out stuff with those choices.
They faded in like one scene.
One of the bad endings, it seems like it's kind of good, honestly. So,
well, I want to say something going back with the stones. I played half of this game with a friend, and we were both like very much into like learning the lore and making decisions, because this game very much like emphasizes the impact of decisions.
Yeah.
And so playing with them, it was like we sat and argued about should we, like, because the game pauses, of course, in any moment that you aren't advancing text. We paused the game for like 10 minutes at just one line of text where it came up in the top left. Do you want to use your cursed stone? And we argued over whether we should use it or not every time, which I really enjoyed. I think if you have that, because you want to like use the cursed stone in a way that it seems like would be both beneficial to you, but also move you towards the quote unquote good ending. And the game makes it very unclear what you should be quote unquote doing, which is, so I liked having the fewer opportunities or more prescripted opportunities to use the curse stone, because then it made them more impactful.
Yeah. You're right about the whole decision stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that it wasn't very clear which way you were supposed to go.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I would be like, okay, I think I'm supposed to do this, and that would lead to the bad end. And it was like, okay, cool. Well, now I don't have to go find the bad decision, right?
And the other thing too is if you made a bad decision, it was easy to navigate in the story map, which I think is something that Beacon Pines also had that was just really great to see.
This one was like that to the nth degree, because you could resume a scene from different points, like different milestones within that scene, which was great. That was awesome.
It even like illuminated, which meant it was unfinished.
Yep.
Old paths that you had to return to if you were stuck.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
There was like a timer. Like you had to fail so many times and then it would illuminate the past point.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. We'll talk about that at the end. That's interesting. Okay, moving on to the visuals. Aaron, what do you think about them lips?
So pouty. So pouty. I don't know, the graphics are great. I like the character models. I think that they were all unique enough.
Yeah.
You can see the tiredness in like Haru's eyes. I like Richter's as a character, as like a foil for her, or like the pairing for her.
So full of life.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything that she's not. No, I like I thought the art was fine. I like the environments, which had kind of like a photo, like somebody took a photo and then put it through a filter. So like the park area or something.
Yeah.
Where you're scrolling around. It, not that it looked bad. Just I thought the art style was fine.
Mox, were you a fan of the characters and the style of this game visually?
I liked it. I think it balanced it's a drama game. It's tension. It takes itself seriously at times, but then pretty much every other time it does not take itself seriously at all. And the models at times had like very silly faces, and the pouty face universally silly on every character to the point that I was like, okay, now I'm taken out of the game because it's so silly. But luckily, I didn't feel that way most of the game. And then there were a lot of scary moments where scary images appeared in front of me that I didn't like. I didn't like to see them. But I appreciated that they were there. And then all the other characters, I think every character was very like well characterized with the, within the story. Their art was different. They looked different. They looked like how I imagined they would look like. It was good. And the weird, like, I don't know what it's called. Like on the bottom and top of the screen, there was a chromatic aberration to suggest like the old television screen that you're watching the drama play out on.
They added an option to turn that off about like a month and a half ago, but I did not turn it off.
Why would you ever?
Interesting. Wonder if that's a accessibility thing, or I don't know. That's interesting. Austin, you were a big fan of the visuals?
I love the visuals, actually. Yeah,
me too.
I thought the characters were all very expressive, and just everyone had a very distinctive face, and they had I got anytime it was like a new scenario, they were making kind of a new face or a new character got introduced. It was like, oh, cool, like the there were people that I grew to really like, and I got very attached to their faces, and there were people who I was like, oh, that's a cool looking character, and then I really hated them, and it was like, oh, just seeing their face and the different expressions they would make. It was just like, I hate you. Get off the screen.
Such a punchable face.
No, yeah, I like the visual style. I think they did a good job of keeping like being able to look around your environment worked well. The different camera angles they would do for like dramatic purposes, I think. Yeah, I in terms of what you would normally expect from a visual novel, I think this was kind of a level above what you would usually come in expecting.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I liked how unique the people were and how, like, for me, it was hard to, whenever their names were said, it was hard to be like, who is that again? And I could reference, which was nice. That was hard to follow, but visually, once I saw them, I was like, oh yeah, that person. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the audio. The soundtrack was composed by Hidenori Iwasaki. He did Left Alive, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Wait.
Yeah.
He didn't do Crystal Chronicles because it was Kumi Tanyoka.
He assisted on Crystal Chronicles from what I saw.
Oh, okay. Well, I disagree with your credit there because it was 99% Kumi Tanyoka, who's amazing.
Well, he worked on Crystal Chronicles and Front Mission 4 and 5. And for me, the music was one of my favorite parts of the whole game. I liked, like, all the songs I really, really, really enjoyed. I couldn't hum them for you, but I thought they were all really fitting. And especially when the storyteller would come on screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jams. The jams. Mox, music?
Oh, the best. There are some songs that I didn't necessarily like. Every song I was okay to hear, at minimum. Several songs I thought, this is a very, I don't necessarily like listening to this song this long because it was a shorter loop, but there was no song that was unpleasant to hear. There were several songs that I would just set my Steam Deck and listen to, even if it is just a 1-2 minute loop, because I loved it.
Austin?
This had some great music.
Yeah.
Very, very much enjoyed. Anytime that I was playing, I made sure I was in a spot where I could turn the sound up.
Yeah. And Aaron, what about you?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Good. I like the main theme. I like how it times itself so that it kicks on just as the credits or like the company logos fade away. I like the detectives music because it kind of reminds me of like Lupin the Third. Jazzy stuff. It's good music.
Yeah, it was good. All right. Controls, interface, performance. I played on deck and PC, and both were good. I preferred mouse and keyboard for this, which usually I lean towards controller, but for some reason I was a big fan of mouse and keyboard for this game. The only thing... Actually, there's one thing that I thought about after Austin told me, but I don't want to steal your thunder, Austin. So I'll let you say it if you say it. But for the most part, I thought it was nice and simple, and everything worked really well for me, at least. Austin, what about you?
So I tried using mouse and keyboard. I tried using controller. I played most of this on my Steam Deck, and at first the controller was not very pleasant to use. You basically look around with one stick and you move the mouse cursor with the other stick. And that makes it hard to like finally pick options. I discovered after playing for a while that you can use the D-pad to actually choose options, and that makes that a lot easier.
Oh my gosh.
What?
The first thing I do is use the D-pad. I almost exclusively use the D-pad. I don't understand how you people are not just immediately pressing the D-pad. Crazy people.
Big brain.
Crazy.
So once I discovered that I could use the D-pad, I ended up favoring the controller over using mouse and keyboard. There was one section I really should have switched back to mouse and keyboard, and that was when you're trying to stay awake, because that was not very good on a joystick.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, it actually worked pretty well on a controller. I think it was definitely built around a mouse and keyboard, but since I was playing mostly on Steam Deck, it is what it is. I'm trying to think what you. They did add an option in that same update that they let you disable chromatic aberration. You can fast forward if you hold the cancel button.
I can't believe that's a new addition.
Yeah. So if you're like replaying a scene, it's really good for that. There were times when I would like use it briefly just to like skip over like the unskippable part of an intro of a scene where it's like, it's this time in this place. And they'd show like an establishment shot. It's like, okay, I don't care. Let's move to the dialogue.
Give me that meat.
But I ended up not having to use it extensively very often. So yeah.
The thing that I was talking about was it was nice to see the check mark on things that were exhausted.
Yes.
And it would have been...
Yes.
Yeah.
I had one improvement that I would have made to that, which was there were times... So, like, if you fully exhaust something, you get a check mark. There are times when you have exhausted something for now, and you need to loop back to it after, like, looking at something else. And I would have liked a 2 checkmark system. 1 checkmark to be like, you're done with this for now. And 2 check marks to be like, okay, you're actually done with this. Kind of like text messaging systems, but it was nice to have. I appreciated it regardless. So,
yeah, Mox.
Well, I am such a fan of the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles soundtrack that I had to look this up. And he composed one singular song in the dozens and dozens of songs on that soundtrack. And
sounds like he composed part of it.
One song out of like 100. Kumi Tanioka did all the other ones except for the Moogle one that Nobuo Uematsu did, obviously. And his song was called Oath in the Eternity, which I can imagine. As soon as I say that, I can hear it in my head because, again, I know the soundtrack like the back of my hand. Okay, I had to clarify that because Kumi Tanioka wrote 99% of the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles soundtrack. Okay. Anyway, I didn't like the what's it called? The fast forward, because it doesn't, like, it lets you skip past stuff you haven't seen, which is just rude visual novel,
etiquette.
Come on. Yeah.
I did like that if I accidentally did that, I could look at my files immediately and be like, okay, here's my text log.
Not if you skip past to the next scene. Like, if
I thought you could look back at the... Okay. Yeah,
if it moves you along, like, to a next space, then I'm like, especially it'll be like the ending, like the last thing someone says before it moves somewhere, and I didn't realize that, I accidentally skipped it. That was frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds frustrating. I had liberal use of the fast forward button, but I never fell prey of, like, going to the next scene. There were times when they would explain the same concept again and again and again, or they would, just in the way that sometimes these visual novels or novels in general just kind of tell you the same thing, so reiterate. So being able to fly through that was very useful. Honestly, I thought the game was a nice collection of quality of life improvements. Just kind of across the board. I can't imagine playing a game like this without the storyboard, without the check marks, without the fast forward.
Wait, there was a time where this game didn't have the storyboard?
No.
Oh,
I'm just saying, in
Oh
general,
my gosh.
like playing a visual novel and being expected to kind of jump around and revisit scenes to better understand what happened or make different decisions. The storyboard is the way to go for that. It's learned a lot of lessons, right? It's grown and learned a lot about from what came before it.
Also, I like the horizontal, like the left to right versus the. I know a lot of visual novels do the up and down, the more vertical timeline.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought it worked really well to do the, and I think it was because of the time. Timing was important.
Yes.
Yeah.
These are all spoilers that I can't talk about yet, and I want to talk about
Saying time's important? That's not a spoiler.
Yes.
No, it's
it
not.
Well,
no, it's not. Tag up.
I know.
Yeah.
It
Spoiler
is in the
tags
context of how I want to talk about it, but I'm waiting till we get to the story.
Okay.
But the other thing I wanted to say is the controller controls I use only 100%, and they work perfectly 100% of the time.
Nice. Okay. We are now in super double ultra spoiler territory. Mox, please lead us into the story.
Well, should we go in order, or should we just spoil it from the beginning? Oh,
no, go in order. Go in order. Okay.
Okay. So you open the game. He asks you, "What's your name?" You give a name. He says, "Wait, aren't you?" And then yes, I don't know what they do on Switch. Probably maybe this isn't on Switch, but on Steam they ask you, "Well, aren't you your Steam name?" And I said, "No, don't call me that." And he's like, "Oh, my mistake." So you give a name. That name is nowhere in the game. Asterisk.
Mm-hmm.
Asterisk. So I love games that the mechanisms of a video game come to play in the story of the game. Like Beacon Pines, for example, it's like a book.
Yep.
And the book is like being told to you by the storyteller who's writing the book, but she's also like, wait, why did it happen like that? That's not how it's supposed to happen. And so the mechanism of why you can move around in the story path is that we have to find the story kind of along the way. I love that. I love having an explanation. This game did that in spades. There's an explanation for everything, especially like at the end, it all comes together so nicely. But anyway, so the first, like the prologue, you're playing as Shogo. You're in a park. You meet Yoko. Yoko looks over Shogo because you're like zoomed into Shogo's eyeballs. Yoko looks over Shogo's shoulder, is stunned to see something behind him. He looks back, doesn't see anything. Well, you look back, the player, and then you look at her and she's taken over by a curse stone. And thus starts like the prologue of him encountering all these people who have curse stones and him being like, well, I need to get everybody's curse stones, kill all these people, because then I can accumulate their soul dregs to revive Yoko, who I need to revive because did he like her, or he felt guilty that she died? Well, whatever. So we learned that there's like a thing going on that you accumulate soul dregs by killing people to perform the rite of resurrection. I'm sorry. What do you want to say, Aaron?
I said, what are curse stones?
They are netsukes, wooden carvings from, I don't remember the era. Do you remember the era?
The Edo period, right?
Yes. The Edo period, where all these people who died in mysterious circumstances related to this ancient onmyoji, whose name I don't remember. They were cursed by this onmyoji who's like a ancient prophet kind of thing.
Seaman.
They do, and there's like sorcerer too. Yeah, well, Seaman. I don't want to talk about that one. I'm talking about the woman one. I don't remember her name.
It started with an A.
I'm
Ayame?
gonna look at.
No,
might as well have been. No, I just need to look up.
Oh, I have the names up here. It's Tomo.
No, Ashino.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Ashino.
the ghost. Yeah, there.
So anyway, Ashino's this old onmyoji who killed all these people, and their spirits got their anger about being killed in a way that was kind of like unfair, got stored in these netsukes, these wooden carvings that now someone in this area of Japan, which is connected to the ancient onmyoji era, Honjo, it awakened these curse stones in people's, they're not stones, are they? Who can now like act out the murderous, what is the word, like thoughts of the people that are stuck in the curse stones. And so the whole point of it is like, it's this game to kill people and not be killed, all these people who have curse stones. So the story is following the random people who were granted curse stones after you finish the prologue and Shogo dies, and then you kind of are like, okay, well, here, now the story is starting. You think, at least, and who cares about Shogo anymore? So you go through the story, you meet Harue, who's a woman from like a really important crime or whatever, cop family, whose son was killed by a serial killer, who's helped by Richter, who's this old cop who's now what is it called?
Private Eye.
Private Eye. Then there's Ario and, oh my god, what's his name? Tsutsumi. Cops who are trying to figure it out. And then Mio and, oh man,
Yako.
And they also are two students at the local high school. Those are all the like important people other than, I don't know, Mayu, I guess.
Yeah.
But all of them have their curse stones, trying to figure out what's going on, trying not to kill people, trying to save themselves. There's other people, like some people who work at the school that have curse stones that are gross. And then this guy, Yutaro, who's are they live-in girlfriend? I don't even know. Ayame, who's obsessed with Hokusai, the ukiyo-e painter of the, what is that called? The Great Wave or something like that.
Yeah.
She's insane. She's trying to get curse stones to revive that guy. Anyway, I'm just covering all the basics.
While saying she's not selfish herself.
She's bizarre. Well, and it's like, I don't even know. So I'm just going to talk about my opinion here, which is that I was so upset that she is so rude to Tsutsumi, even as he's being like, we need to save you. And because, she is his adopted daughter because she is the child of the serial killer and like his girlfriend who was killed, in an accident, and he was trying to revive her in a whatever it's called, Game of Shadows, Beast of Shadows, so long ago.
Fate of Shadows.
Too much.
Whatever. Yeah.
Too much. I was like very upset with her. She's just crazy. Anyway, at the end, you're asked several times by the storyteller, hey, do you understand what's going on? You learn that Yako is being possessed by a student who was killed by Yutaro, who's trying to exact her revenge, and Mio exorcises her. But Mio looks at Yako weird anyway, even after the exorcism, and is like, hey, I'm going to tell you this piece of information, but I'm just saying it out loud. I just have to say it so that someone knows. And so we learn towards the end that we are Seimon, the like opposing Onmyoji to Ashino, and we have been like possessing all these different characters except Shogo, because he is a descendant of what's his name? Seimon. So he's the only one you don't control. His actions happen. You can click the button to make him use the
but they happen
stone.
Anyway, right?
Yes.
Well,
he decides.
Which is Aaron?
So I didn't click the button ever, right? And it always forced the curse to happen. But you make the decision whether to look or not look away from yourself when Yoko is trying to get you to turn around in the beginning. Like, you die, right? And then you go back to the storyteller and he says, well, we shouldn't do that. So you kind of are controlling Shogo.
You don't get to control his decisions to make the whether or not to use the curse stone, because his will is stronger than yours in that way.
Oh, okay.
So the way they describe possession is that a lot of times the spirit who's possessing the person doesn't even know that they're possessing them, and the person being possessed doesn't know it either. Basically, like the possessing spirit kind of suggests things, and so a lot of what you were doing was suggesting things to people. So Shogo made some decisions on his own, whether you suggested them or not. But a lot of times, like when you would pick up new information that a character didn't know, you'd be like, hey, you should do this. And they'd go, why do I have this sudden compulsion to do that?
Hey, wait, it was only Shogo that had that knowledge about himself to question it. All the other characters were like, they just followed along. That's important.
I thought I remembered other instances where I made a suggestion and they were like, suddenly I have this compulsion to do this thing, where they thought it was weird. But
right. Well, that's the whole Mayu section, right? Where she has to escape with outside information.
Because you are her Netsuke. So, that's like you're her curse stone.
Why are we her curse stone then?
Because what do you mean? That's the whole point. This was the end of the story, because you are the oh my god.
You're the beckoning light? I see.
Yeah, or beckoning light. I'm sorry, you're right.
I see.
But so at the beginning, when you're possessing Shogo and Yoko is looking at you in horror, she sees Seimon, what are they called? What is they called? The little fire thing.
Yeah, the
like Will-O-Wisp.
Yeah.
Will-O-Wisp. And that is why she is horrified, because she is, of course, our antagonist, as the the descendant of Ashino.
No. When she's pointing behind you,
yes.
No, she's just trying to get you to turn around. She doesn't see anything.
Yes, she sees Seimon. She sees the will-o-wisp.
Maybe it's open for interpretation.
She's trying to kill you when she does that, though. That's why she's pointing behind you.
But you do turn around. You have to turn around.
Right, and then she dies.
She dies. Why?
Because she uses the curse on you.
How does she die?
Because your curse, the beckoning light reflects it back automatically. Because you have the beckoning light curse because you are the...
I disagree with what you're saying. I think she sees Seimon because he is the will-o-the-wisp. Why would she be horrified otherwise?
Because she's not horrified. It's an act.
She's acting.
It's an act to get you to turn around. So she can kill you as soon as you turn around so she can steal your soul dregs. And then she dies because it gets reflected off of Shogi's curse stone, which he doesn't even realize he has. Because he is the beckoning light curse.
But he doesn't have it yet. What's her name? Oh my god. Mayu has it.
And it's in that little cabinet.
The only way to answer what you're saying is that the will-o-the-wisp is there with him.
Yeah,
because
the will-o-the-wisp
he
is there
doesn't
with
have
him.
the Netsuke.
Right. Well, it's there anyway. I mean, it doesn't it say towards the end of the true ending that it's just it's that powerful. It comes out unbidden from him. I mean, he sees it in the path where she dies after she dies, and you're talking to that guy who wants to kill you. You see the will-o-wisp. You can talk to it.
That so Mayu has the curse stone of the beckoning light. So
I understand that we find it there. We find it in the darkness thing that takes place half a day later.
But who has chosen to kill Yoko in that moment? It doesn't reflect it.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
It's a choice.
I thought they were saying that he had activated it by accident, like it wasn't a conscious decision.
He doesn't have the curse stone. We can't argue about this. You guys are wrong. That's okay, though. My point is that Yoko is the bad guy, and so at one point you have to answer a question by the storyteller, which is like, well, who is Seimon then? And you have to type in the name that you gave at the beginning of the game, which I just loved.
Yeah, that was cool.
And the whole point is that you, as Seimon, are actually time traveling and possessing people to try to change the way the events happen, which I like when the mechanism of the game has an explanation. Unlike, well, I won't spoil 999 and the related games, but it's also explained in those games as well, which I like. It's the best part of those games.
So I've got the storyteller pulled up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he talks about what is the curse that represents the soul of Simon Tsuchi Mikado, the beckoning light. That's exactly it. After his defeat at the hands of Ashino, Simon wandered about near Honjo, or Hanji. The form of his curse echo changed over time with the legend he left behind. This is the cursed echo which was acquired by Mayu Chozawa, but when called forth by Simon's body and mind, that's Soji, and our consciousness, it appeared momentarily before him. Well, yeah, Shogo. Yeah, you're right.
Did you hear that? Appeared momentarily before him.
Yeah.
She saw the beckoning light.
No, it was summoned. It appeared before him to save him. It would have appeared before Yoko if she was the one who saw him.
I don't know what you mean. It was there. She saw it. It doesn't matter that much.
Okay, all right. I want to get to the bottom of this.
No,
it's wonderful though that it can be this story can be interpreted in more ways than one though.
Okay,
I know.
There is something to be said there.
Interpretation, which I think is
Go ahead.
Awesome.
No, it's fine.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Max.
I already said everything I was going to say.
Oh, okay. I
was going to let you guys say something.
Did you like did you get all the endings, Max? All of them?
You don't have to get all the achievements.
You don't.
So no, I didn't try to fail at times unless there was an achievement related to failing.
Okay, got it. I thought the story was I was like so into it in the beginning, and whenever daylight happened, I was still interested, but I was like, it's okay. And then one of the characters for me I just could not get over, which was the character who wants to bring back the painter.
Oh, Ayame.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I didn't like that she was making statements that were kind of rude, and that she was telling people that they were selfish whenever, like, I feel like her thing that she wants to do is very selfish as well. So I don't know. It was just very weird. But I did like I thought the story was really cool as far as like the lore goes, and like the different the curse stones and how they were associated with these stories and all that stuff. That stuff was really cool. And the fourth wall breaking, I really enjoyed, and I wish there was more of it as well. Austin, story?
Yes. Yeah. I'm in a similar boat. I was very into the story through the first night, and then I didn't fall off of it, but like it was like I had to force myself more to pay attention during the daytime the following day, just because there was a lot less like happening that I was involved in. It was more just like, let's get information, and in some pretty long scenes.
Lord up.
But yeah.
Aaron, I feel like
novel.
It is a visual novel, yeah. There's a big lore dump in Tales of Arise. Little fun fact, if you haven't listened to that.
I love every lore dump. I just relish lore dumps.
Aaron, I know that you have another interpretation of the story than Mox. There's a difference there, but did you enjoy the story?
Yeah, I thought the story was nice. Seeing most of the story follow kind of like the bad end, and then go back to the beginning and stop it, meant that the ending of the story, like the conclusion, the denouement of everything, felt kind of weird, because it meant that we were all of the progress that we had made up through that point, like the resolution of the hit and run and the serial killer who's now working as a janitor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we went through some like pretty emotional moments to get to those resolutions, and then the ending shows the detective and the serial killer just kind of chatting on a bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on here? Like, how does he know that that's the serial killer? Like, because he wouldn't have had a reason to piece it together,
I see what
because
you're
the
saying.
curse stones no longer work. But then again, there was all the rumors of the curse stones working, so wouldn't people still kill each other even if they didn't think the curse stones were working? And then there's the red herring of the soap company.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is
Got me
manned
good.
by a guy who's willing to kill. He's kill and kidnap and use truth serums on people.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that they're completely they just heard the rumors, and they just want
red
the
herring.
thing that they heard the rumors. Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping for that the soap factory lady was like behind it all.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking like the final act would go, and we would find out that she was a witch or something. But then they wanted to take it aback and say, no, the very first person you saw, that was the person you forgot about for a day and a half.
Remember that person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Mox put it best when that part ended and she goes, and we don't care about Shogo anymore. It's like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was not satisfying to go back there.
Yeah.
Now, see, I enjoyed how it was like a loop like that, and there were red herrings, because I definitely thought, what's her name? Natsue of the soap company was going to be like the big bad. And I enjoyed when it wasn't her, because it felt like it was so built up. And then, all the little, like, I expected to have some big conspiracy with the Pompadour cop, whose name I will never remember. And then his involvement with the delinquent girl.
Yeah, Yoshimi and Hitomi.
Thank you. I liked that those were kind of like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It was just like random act of violence, It's like, I don't know. That's reality in a way. Not everything's a conspiracy. Sometimes bad things happen.
It's true.
I liked that. It made the story more, I don't know, interesting to me. I do wish the final, like, how everything turns out in the end. I do wish there was more of a grand, I don't know, like, awesome thing that happens. I really like when the story, when it goes through the credits and all the characters get a little epilogue, and they're like, this person's doing okay, that person's doing okay.
Forgotten City.
Not everybody was doing okay. What's her name? Mayu never really learned what in the final timeline. Doesn't know what happened to
her fiance. The dude
Yoshimi.
Yeah.
That's so sad. She was definitely like the saddest character, I think, of all of this, the most wronged. And Ayame, who knows, right? She's just wild card.
Yeah, she is a wild card. Mox, can you go ahead and lean into your personal take?
I loved this game. I love mystery games. It was definitely scarier than I expected for the first maybe like 4 hours. It was like, oh my gosh, this is almost too scary. I don't know if I can get through it. But luckily it tapered off a lot and it became a visual novel with lore dumps and just tons of reading, which is exactly why I play visual novels. Although I think I do appreciate that there was the scary part because I think it made people play on. Like, I don't know if they would have if it didn't start with the scary part. So they knew what they were doing. I thought all the characters were fun. I liked the premise. I think it was novel, pun intended. I liked all the things that happened in what are they called? Bad endings, as it were. They were like, I wish there was more that played out because it kind of was just like a text.
Yeah.
Here's what happened, which is a little less interesting. Like when Ayame is the victor, it's just as a text thing about she then becomes a brand new ukiyo-e person on the scene. I wanted a little more flavor there.
Yeah, let's see the art.
But yeah. The thing that first got me mad was there is a setting in the settings about voice, and there are no voices. And I thought, when does this come out?
Well, there is one voice, right?
Yes. Well, I liked this. I liked that fourth wall thing. That was adorable. I wanted more of that. There was pretty much that and like one other thing, maybe two other things. I would have liked a bit more of that kind of thing. That was definitely like, I was like, I can't believe that, I would have liked hearing voices. I mean, this is a visual novel game. Usually they're voice acted, but it was fine the way it was. I really enjoyed it. I think it was so fun. It doesn't have any replay value. It definitely, you get the achievements and then you're good. You can go back and open it to play the music because it's not in Spotify and only on Amazon.
Apple Music too.
It is. Is it on Apple Music?
It is.
Okay, great. I have to get it. But I loved it. It had a lot of campy things, a lot of fun things. I like the characters. I would give it a 9.
Dang. Okay. I really liked the music a lot. I liked the mechanics with the curse stones, and I wish they would have used them more. And I thought the story tree was the bomb. It reminded me a lot of Beacon Pines, just how like this is how to do a really good story tree where you can navigate really easily. I didn't like, I already mentioned this, but like I wanted them to use the curse stones more. And for me, I wasn't like, it got kind of like just whatever at the end. I was just like, okay, like just wrap up, I didn't really, the big reveal for me wasn't as rewarding as I thought it would have been. So for me, I would give it a 7. And the only replay value it really has, Mox, is I guess the sticker collection or whatever.
Oh, but you could do that while you play. Get it done
true.
with.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Aaron?
Yeah, I thought that this wound up being like a pretty good suspense novel. After it got through the first act where everyone was being introduced and things got a little tense where you're trying to find out what happened, and when the serial killer winds up dead and Ayame is like missing, I took a break there, and I just remember thinking about that, like, oh, okay, so she's got to be a curse bearer, and what is she up to, and is she the mastermind behind all this, or is she a ghost baby? Was she revived by this thing? So it got I think that the high it reached around there was really good. I wish that the escape room sequence with Mayu was expanded on or drawn out throughout more of the game, because it was close to like 999, right? Or the Nonary games, where you're taking this information you got from a different playthrough or different decisions, and you're using them to inform the decisions of this one person. And I liked that. I liked leaving, and it really reinforced the consciousness idea of you being this omniscient character. It's part of my notes here. But it was kind of short. It's find the mop, find the soap, put them together, figure out who you are, look in your notes to find the face that matches with this, and then you're kind of, then you're out, and then that person's whole chapter is done. So like the moments of gameplay, like real gameplay where you're making a decision or you're interacting with the systems beyond just clicking next. I liked it. I would have liked even more of those. Or some way, like I said before, it gives you that little notice when you get a curse stone. It says if somebody can listen to this noise for 30 seconds without you being seen, they'll die. But you never, and it gets used, but you never have to think about like, okay, well, where could they be for 30 seconds without being heard? Or how can I position myself somewhere where I don't get heard for 30 seconds? It's like a tease that it gives you. But I don't know. I thought it was a fine visual novel. If you like visual novels, and you like suspense or horror, I think that this is a pretty good pick, especially for October, spooky season. So I would say like an 8 out of 10.
Oh my gosh, that's so much higher than I thought you were going to give it based on what you said.
Oh, yeah. Well, again, if you don't like visual novels, don't
play this.
This isn't going to really change your mind. But if you already like to read, hey, come on down.
Nice. Austin, take us home.
So I loved the opening of this game. Thought the prologue was super cool. And even the first chapter, I was still digging it. It had me very excited for where the story was going to go and where the gameplay was going to go. And then the sun rose and a lot of that fell off. The gameplay largely ended there. And it kind of became a visual novel. And I can get into a visual novel if I'm like really into the story, but usually I like to have some gameplay to string me along. Like 999, I think, had some very good pacing around that. They would do like a big story section, and then it would be like, okay, well, here's an escape room, and then here's a big story section. And so it was very cool to. I felt like I was more engaged with jumping around the timeline on that. And here I got less interested in the story the further along the game went. And I guess I also enjoyed the game less the further along it went as well. There was a brief lift up when Mayu came in, and then that was over. And it went back to just kind of being a lot of lore and quizzes and and I thought the big reveal at the end, like, so it made sense, and they had laid some nice little seeds along with that. But I wasn't super enthused by it. I think it could have been executed better, or maybe fleshed out better. I'm not sure. I love the music, love the art. I love a lot of the quality of life stuff that they do over other visual novels, and so there's definitely something to be said for that. I guess overall I would give it like a low 7.
Okay.
Out of 10.
Okay. Nice. Yeah,
I would say if you're looking at the marketing for this game, a lot of it is does not really apply to the whole game.
Yeah, like one of the
so just be aware.
Yeah, like one of the things they say is navigate strategic gameplay and choose to either deploy your curse at the opportune moment or risk being cursed yourself. And that happens that's listed in the key features of the game in the marketing material.
Yeah, which is not going to be something that you're going to be encountering much.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you guys didn't hate it, given it's a visual novel.
Oh, girl, you know I love Beacon Pines. That's a little visual novel.
I don't know if would you play a Steins Gate? I don't know.
Not without a recommendation from you, probably.
Yeah, I mean, but Steins Gate, like, almost no gameplay. Like, I feel like Aaron would do a Steins Gate if he hasn't already done it.
I have not. I don't play a lot of visual novels, but I do like reading. I am a big reader. So Big reader.
Have you played?
I gotta get my achievements too.
Yeah, that's important. Have you played a Famicom Detective Club, Aaron?
No, I haven't.
Might be worth a visit.
Don't.
Well, and you guys liked this, but you didn't like that. And this one, I mean, it is better, I guess. But that one, I felt like, maybe this one does have more gameplay.
I would say, just real quick on Famicom Detective Club, because Tyler said the exact same thing to me. The conditions to move forward in Famicom Detective Club are so obtuse and bizarre that even guides don't know how to progress to the next scene. They'll be like, well, we think it's this, but I don't know. And you can follow it and still not be able to progress to the next scene because I need to look at the TV before I do any of the other stuff that actually seems important, because for some reason that triggered this other cabinet to have something that I can look at. Like,
This one was more straightforward.
Yeah.
It was.
Except for that one question, which I did think it asked you about something that you learned much more about in the as soon as you answer that question.
Yeah.
And,
that was dumb.
And I wish they would have asked it after that. That was my point.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm so glad you guys didn't hate it. That's so good.
Yeah. Well, that was a little dive in our take on Paranormasight, the Seven Mysteries of Honjo. And if you enjoyed hearing us discuss and want to join us for the next Video Game Club episode, stay put, because the vote just ended, and it was between Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Live Alive, Live Alive, however you want to say it, Shadowrun, Dragonfall. And the winner is... Oh my god, it's tied. Aaron, I hate to put you on the spot, but it is your choice to pick which game you would like us to play. Castlevania Symphony of the Night or Live Alive.
It's a tough choice. There's the classic, the timeless classic of Castlevania, and then the hot freshness of Live Alive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go with Castlevania on this one.
Yay.
I think it's going to fit the season a little better. I think it's going to be, something that's achievable to beat in the time frame, and it's good. I mean, we call them Metroidvania games, and this is why. This is the game that's, helped spark a genre that's going strong today.
I can't wait to discuss that term, because I've had some hot conversations around that in the past year.
Oh my goodness. I can't even imagine what you're talking about.
It's been a long time. I think the last time we brought it up was Axiom Verge 1. Classic.
All right. Well, Castlevania Symphony of the Night it is. Thank you everyone who voted, and thank you, Aaron, for these awesome nominations. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. The next episode the schedule's changing a little bit here. So the next episode will be on October 8th at 2 Eastern. Stay tuned to Discord for some future announcements as well. The reason why it's like this is because I have a lot of travel coming up. I'm going to be in Japan in September. I'm going to Sweden in October, San Francisco in November. It's going to be very busy. And Austin has some travel coming up as well. So we may need to shift the schedule a bit for the rest of the year. We'll keep you posted in Discord. Austin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having
Mox, thank you for the nominations and joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for playing my game.
Of course. And Aaron, thank you for being here as well.
Well, thank you for killing so many people and reviving me with the rite of resurrection. It means a lot to me. Hopefully none of the people you killed have people who want to revive them with the rite of resurrection. It turns into a dark and vicious cycle. But I appreciate it. I really do.
And thank you, Andron, for working behind the scenes. I'm Tyler, and this was Video Game Club episode 77, Paranormasight, the Seven Mysteries of Honjo. And we're out.